I'm Amanda Blythe with the Association for Iron and Steel Technology. Today is Sunday, May 15th, 2022. We're here today at AIS Tech 2022 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with Dr. Hardarshan Valia, who is joining me for an AIME oral history interview. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Amanda.
Let's start with your childhood. Tell me about your childhood.
Before I start that, I want to say a few words about destiny. Because to me, it seems more like a magical phenomena to be swept away from growing up in the central part of India, right in the center, and landing in a faraway land and following the pathway to the magical world of steel industry. And with my apologies to Wizard of Oz. Why? Because, yes, Dorothy, the miracles happen all over the world, not only in Kansas. Mm-hmm. So with that, now let me tell you about my childhood. So I grew up in a town called Chindwara. It is a very sleepy little town of 1950s. Remember, that's my childhood at that time period. Now it may be very different. So this little town is surrounded by mountains and lush forests and rich in mineral deposits. And there's a coal belt that runs through there. And very interesting, there are two India's famous tiger reserves right very close to this place. One is about 40 miles south of Chindwara, which is where Rudyard Kipling, it is believed that he wrote his jungle book and story of Mowgli while in that, it's called Panch, P-E-N-C-H, Panch Tiger Reserve. And so my childhood is all from that area, it's just unbelievable when I think about it. I say, oh my God, I can't believe I came from there,
Mm-hmm.
It's just unbelievable. Anyhow, the next one is about 140 miles. That is also one of the most famous tiger reserves of India called Kana, K-N-H-A. And although it's a little further distance, but doesn't matter because I did all mine training in geology from that town. There is a town called Balaghat right there. Mm-hmm. So my whole childhood is from that area. And because my father was a railway employee, so, take the train, go anywhere, come back, and there's a narrow gauge train. They don't go very fast. Just to go 70 miles, it would take whole night. So 10 o'clock in the night we'll get ready, and 7 o'clock in the morning we'll reach to the other place, kind of thing. So I come from that. And my mother was a housewife, and I was the only son in the family. And I had three sisters in that Chindwara town, but one sister was born later on when we moved to another city. I really want to talk about something about my distinct identity. And I belong to Sikhism, which is the fifth largest religion in the world. People don't realize that. And they are well known as saints, soldiers. And why? Because when you look at them, you see them, they have long hair. Long hair is the symbol of saintlyhood. And then they were turban. Turban is a symbol of, you are a king of your own families and others. So that, when there's a persecution, you stand up. Mm-hmm. So we are known as a very martial race. And you'll be very surprised to hear that, the largest numbers of Victoria Cross, besides British, anyone got are the Sikhs. Not many people know about it. This was National Geographic also article. So we have tradition. Usually from families, people are in the army. So my both paternal grandfather and my maternal grandfather, they were both with the British Army's Indian forces. So my paternal grandfather was very proud. I didn't see him. He died before. So in Pakistan part, we were living in Pakistan part. My father was transferred to the India part, so he died there. So at that time, what I know from stories from my father, the heroic stories and all that. So he went with British forces to few countries, and in ships from Karachi, Pakistan to Africa, different places, all that. And he told me many stories about that, what happened. But he survived. Many people died and came back to Punjab. But the beauty is that there's a picture of his with 3 medals. One is the engraving of Queen Victoria. Second one is the engraving of King George. Third is the engraving of Edward. My maternal grandfather, he never went to the war front with the British Indian forces, but he was, I think he was an officer, and so he was assigned to the administrative services.
So let's talk about your early schooling and the role of the small township in your upbringing.
Okay, so I have 2 phases there. One is the primary middle school, which is in a small town. Then my father moved to transfer to big city called Nagpur. So I'll talk about both places. Mm-hmm. So in the primary middle schooling, I still wonder, it's unbelievable that our classes were all on the floor. You know, so we would sit on the floor and it is cold and we will sit there. Of course, they had what you call, it's made of jute, very thin, you know, carpet kind of thing. And so my middle school, primary school was all there in that. But I had a wonderful teacher from primary school. His name is Durga Prasad Shukla. And oh man, I'm thankful to him, you know, because of him, he put all of us in craving for knowledge. You know, so it's because of him I could be, you know, kept straight on line, following, you know, study path. And you'll be surprised to hear that our house had no running water, no electricity. Okay, but we had a well in the house. And then later on, my father got the railway, because a railway house. And it's very interesting. Not in America, but in India, all railway people, usually in smaller places, not in big cities like Bombay, Delhi, but in smaller places, they have a colony, railway colony. So everything is provided free. The house, you know, and hospitals, schools, and all that. So he was given a railway house, and in that we had running water, but no electricity. Now let me describe a little bit about that town, what we did besides a little bit studying. So I had wonderful fond memories. You know, we would take bicycle, all our friends, especially 4 friends, and we will ride on the Stars Road. It's called Narsinghpur Naka Road, and surrounded on both sides with the forests, and no fear, nothing. Just go through the whole thing for I don't know how many miles. Then we would see a little hillock. It was called Hamtekli. We will climb there, leave our bicycle, run around like crazy. No fear of imaginary or real animals that may be lurking in the forest. And after all the eating, all the fruits, crazy fruits, nonsense, I don't even remember the names now in English. So then we would come back and come to our house area. There, my friend's father had a big grain storage place. So outside there would be huge pile, mounds of peanuts. And we'll climb on those and, you know, eat peanuts, sing songs, tell funny stories, and do things that children do, you know, kind of thing. And then other thing is very interesting was that we would have monsoon rain for whole week. And everything will be flooded with water. Sewage is flowing, you name it, it doesn't matter. We'll put our underwear, run through the water, like all those things, you know, do typical things. And of course, hands in the mud, leave our marks on some decaying walls, as if proclaiming that we were there. Mm-hmm. And there was one small library, just one room. And I think every book in that library has my fingerprints. So that was a beautiful time that I spent there, and my memories always go back to that. When I'm tired, stressed here, that's the place where I take recluse. Then my father was transferred to Nagpur, which is a very big city, and it's about 70 miles south of Chindwara, and in a different state. And here we were given a very nice railway bungalow kind of thing. This was made from British time, and running water, electricity, everything was there. But the beauty was very interesting. It was right across the railway station, So the trains are going left and right. So my life is all revolved around those watching trains and seeing those different people coming and going. And Nagpur is a very interesting city. It's right in the center of India. So North Delhi train will come all the way to Nagpur to Madras, south. And then Calcutta, all the way train will come and go to Mumbai or Bombay and cross here. So people could transfer. So trains are going left and right. And then our house was right adjacent to the narrow gauge platform Chindwara Nagpur train. And that is where my heart was. So all the people will be coming from Nagpur, Chindwara. We would know, sometime they'll come and stay at our home, all that, and we will have good time. So then I went to a model high school and did my high school in Hindi medium, and then moved to the after that college,
Yes, let's skip ahead and talk about your education in college and any mentors you may have had along the way.
Sure. So again, it's divided into two parts, because I have college education in India I had and in America. So let's start with the India part first. So in India, after high school, then I did my BSc in Government Science College. Then I received gold medal in geology. That was my field. And that's where my love for arts and literature flourished. Then I did my Master of Science and Technology in Applied Geology for 3 years under scholarship from University Grant Commission. And then after that, right there is what I had a wonderful mentors, Professor Giri and Kulkarni, who always encouraged me to go to America for higher studies because they had returned from America, both of them. And at the same time, while I had been applying, I got a scholarship to do PhD program in coal geology at Nagpur University. And my professor was Dr. Sapal from Australia. He had just returned. And I know he is back now. He is also world renowned. And I see his papers. And he, while I felt bad about leaving him, but I got a scholarship from Bryn College. And I don't know whether you know this or not, but Bryn is one of the 7 sister colleges in America. So it's basically a women's college, but they were taking graduate students at graduate level men. So I got scholarship in that program. And so I went there, but of course money, how to travel. Right. So Adi Tata Trust, which is the Tata Steel company, they have a partial travel grant they gave to me. And then the geology department gave me a nice farewell. And here I come. I came to America. So in college in USA. So Bryn Mawr College first, and then Boston University. So there are 2 colleges here. Okay, so when I left Nagpur, there's a picture at the airport, and it was a departure at the Nagpur airport because not too many people were coming to America. So it used to be big news if somebody is going. It would be in the newspaper, blah, 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 all those kind of things. And so a lot of people showed up at the airport. My father's friend, my sister's friend, my friend, neighbor children, they all arrived at the airport with garlands and all that. So there's a picture. And that picture my parents always hung in their bedroom. And that picture captures the joy, the tears, the agony, and the waving hands and all that. And it always teases me to discern what are the emotions that my parents must have gone through all these years of my absence, because I was the only son. And so I left America, obviously a young man with all the hopes and dreams and all that. And landing in America, it was September 11, 1969. And I was lucky enough that I went to Bryn Mawr because the faculty there was just unbelievable. They went out of their way to help me to settle down, to go through the program. I'm eternally grateful to Dr. Watson, Dr. Dryden, Dr. Bruce Sanders, and Dr. William Crawford for guiding me through all the courses and the field work. We used to go to a lot of field trips, different places. And I received my master's in geology from Bryn College in 1971. Then let me say something about dorm life, because this was out of this world. Knowing, you know how I came from Chindwara and Nagpur, and suddenly I come to a Victorian style, like it looks like a Cambridge University kind of campus, and beautiful campus, and the dorm both. And this is, for those of you who may not know, it is called Main Line from Philadelphia. That's where Catherine Hepburn lived there in that Main Line area. Okay, so, and if you may know M. Night Shyamalan, the movie director, he lives in that area too, also near Bryn. So that area is very famous, the Main Line. So the Bryn is on that Main Line train station nearby there. And so the reason why I'm telling you is that I was just unbelievable. I said, oh my God, really just like Dorothy, landing in the tornado. So the amazing thing was that not only the geology department was very helpful, but the dorm, that's where you live, that's your home. So the friends there that I developed friendship, they were amazing people. I have a picture there of the cook, Helen, and the staff there, and I used to call Johnny Chacha. Chacha means uncle, Johnny. So they took care of me, fed me, make sure I'm just like their family member. So that just made it very easy for me to adapt to American way of life and learn from them. Then I moved to Boston City and I received my PhD in geology in 1976. My mentor was Dr. Barry Cameron, and under his guidance, I reached the pinnacle of my academic career. He was unbelievable. Oh my God. And one story I tell people sometimes. He says, he used to call me Hudson. Hudson, what time it is? It's 12 o'clock in the night. It's 12 o'clock? Oh, let's have our lunch, dinner. So we, obviously, what's open at the campus in Boston City is the city. If you have been there in Commonwealth Avenue, there is hoagie, somewhere, shop open, something. We go there, eat. So while I'm coming back, so I tell him, I said, Dr. Cameron, I could never call him Barry. He would always say, Barry. I said, no, Dr. Cameron. So I said, Dr. Cameron, I wish you were married. He says, why you say so? I said, because you should be going home on time at 5 o'clock. So he told me, he said, Hardarshan, remember this one thing. You can never be a successful scientist or a successful family man, okay, unless you're fully devoted to that. So you have to choose which one you want. Mm-hmm. And I chose the middle road. So anyhow, wonderful, unbelievable. I'm so glad that, I happened to meet a person of his caliber. His love for me was unbelievable. And he taught me everything in the field that I owe to him. And my thesis was Miocene sedimentation and stratigraphy of the Delaware coastal plain.
So we've learned about your upbringing and your education. Let's talk about your family. Tell me about your spouse.
Okay. I went to India, like many Indian students do, less now, but more at my time, and got married to Bhupinder Kaur. She is a fellow Sikh from Punjab. And remember, I'm from central part of India, okay? So she's from Punjab. Punjab is where most of the Sikhs live there. On January 10th, 1982, and she's a physician by profession. Marriage was performed via Sikh rites, and it's a very elaborate one. I won't go too much detail, but we go on a horse to bride's home, and there bride's family, bridegroom's family, they stand, the important members stand, and then the priest sings religious things, and we garland each other. That is how two families join together. Then in front of the holy book, we take 4 rounds. Each round has got couplet for different phases of life, how to react to those situations. And then marriage is done, we have reception, and that's what happens. So it was in old times, it used to be 2-3 days affair. But nowadays, because of the lifestyle, is 1 day and 2 days the most. Then children, I have 2 children. Vikram Singh, he's my son, and he is more interested in science and doing research. My daughter Anu Kaur, she is a director in Hollywood.
That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. It's always nice to hear about people's home lives and, their family rather than just all their career and, because you're a whole person and you have all those facets to you. So.
You're so right.
Let's talk about your entry into the profession.
After Boston University, I spent 1 semester at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland and taught there. Then I joined Oberlin College as assistant professor of geology in Oberlin, Ohio. And that's where very interesting turning point. I saw an ad from Inland Steel of all the journals, oil and gas journals. Okay, and it was for a coal petrographer because the oil and gas, when you're exploring for oil and gas, you use the reflectance of light on coaly matters to figure it out when you have drilled a hole whether the sediment has a potential to have oil or gas or nothing at all. So, but in the steel industry, coal petrography plays a very important role. Not all coals are usable for making coke. Only very select ones. And one of the key way we find about selectivity of those coals is by microscope, examining under the microscope. So that's why they had put the ad in that. So luckily at Boston University, I was a teaching assistant to world-renowned coal petrographer Dr. Norm Shapiro. He retired from US Steel and came to Boston to teach 1 semester, and I happened to be his teaching assistant because in India I had done 1 year of PhD program in coal petrography. And just to say about Norm Shapiro, all over the world, all steel industries, they use one form or another form of his petrography prediction method for predicting the coking quality of a coal. So his diagram is very famous with another person called, it's joint, Norm Shapiro, with Shapiro and Gray. So people are very familiar with Shapiro and Gray work. So he happened to be there. So then after that, then I chose the Indian path.
It sounds like working with Norm Shapiro had a big impact on you. So tell me about other mentors you've had along the way.
Okay. I would describe that in 2 phases because my professional career has 2 phases. One is that at industrial byproduct coke making, by about 1990 or so, we had shut down those batteries. Okay, so that's my first phase. It's called byproduct coke making. Why byproduct? Because while you're making coke, from that you make tar and a lot of byproduct from that. And then the second phase was, it was called heat recovery coke making. And in the heat, so there were 2 different mentors during those periods. So in byproduct coke making, Dr. William Dubraf, unbelievable, amazing person, director, R&D at Inland Steel, which is now ArcelorMittal, and he nudged me to join Inland. Why nudged me? Because I was double-minded. Because at that time I was fully very academic kind of person, oriented person. To come to a steel industry, it was a big jump. But anyhow, there's a very funny story which I don't want to say now, but some other time I'll relate. Anyhow, so then I came to Inland Steel. So in 1979, and he just provided me completely free hand to follow research projects. Unbelievable, wonderful, mentor. Then once steel industry went through a difficult time, then during the second phase of heat recovery, I was lucky to have Dr. Greg Lukowski. He was the vice president of an R&D, and he gave all resources for plant trials to me. We went to Virginia Vincent and did a lot of trials for, I don't remember, maybe 3 weeks or so, and to make sure that the coke quality we can produce that will fit our numbersome blast furnace. So these are the two persons very important shaping my direction there. But I want to mention something different here. I looked up to the really giants of the industry in my field, in the industry, and they are as follows. Again, from Norm Shapiro and Gray, so Gray from US Steel, and I just looked up to him. And then Dr. Harry Marsh. He is the professor of Newcastle upon Tyne, and I used to wonder, he is one well-known authority in the world where when you melt a coal in the absence of air, then at certain temperature it starts melting like a plastic, and there are pneumatic liquid crystals. They form, then they coalesce and grow, and they give wonderful carbon form, different beautiful colors. And so he was expert in, we call it mesophase pneumatic liquid crystal transformation. So he was expert in that to determine when you mix different coals, what happens. So I used to look at, I remember at AIST, he came first time in Detroit. You have to look at him like a little kid, as a teacher. So later on, he also liked me also too. We became close. Anyhow, so then Dr. T. Miyazu, he is the NKK from Japan, and he's world renowned. His one diagram that we always use it's called, what he did is that all over the world, it coals and defined into a diagram based on reflectance of coal and the fluid character of coal, and American coal, Australian coal, all that. And that is used all over the world. So Dr. Miyazu, then a team of two well-known scientists from Bachelor of Steel, Dr. Dick Thompson and Lou Benedict. So they are very well known for when you heat a coal in big ovens, in cook oven plant, gas started evolving. And when gas escapes and through the liquid or plastic media, it exerts pressure. So as a result, the wall pressure could damage, if you put a wrong cooking coal, it can damage the wall. And so what happens is that, while we're talking about it, let me say one more thing also. So when the gas is trying to escape, it's under positive pressure, so if the doors are old, then the leaks start. So that's one of the sources of emission. So anyhow, so he, both pair, they developed a model, it's called wall pressure prediction model. Okay, my another mentor whom I looked up to, John Patrick, and he is already well known in the world and for coke breakage behavior inside the blast furnace. And he is the editor of Fuel magazine, which is a very famous journal in our field. And there is one more person, he is Judd Nassen from Germany. He developed the jumbo coke reactor, and he was the editor of Coke Making International. So these are the giants in my field.
You've had these giants of industry, as you say, as your mentors. That must have helped you achieve many milestones in your career. So let's talk about the byproduct coke making milestones.
Okay. So when I joined Indian Steel, Dr. Dubrov, he gave me a project, and that project just defined my career. And that was, at that time, 1979 when I joined, we had the largest blast furnace in the one of the largest blast furnace in Western Hemisphere, numbersome blast furnace newly made. But after some time, we started having troubles in the blast furnace, and we were unable to figure it out. And the reason was that what we found that was told to us by Nippon Steel, that your coke strength after reaction inside the blast furnace is very weak, very low. And they are the one who had come up with this parameter called CSR, coke strength after reaction with carbon dioxide gas. So that tells you at high temperature, 1100 degrees. So that tells you somehow the behavior of coke when it's moving from top to bottom with the iron ore, how or pellet, how it is functioning. So ours was weaker. So as a result, we were having operational issues and cracks on the wall, blast furnace, huge blast furnace. So they told the CSR is low. And they had come up with this CSR word and the method to determine. But they did not tell us how to predict from the code. So Dr. Dubov told me, you developed a prediction model for CSR. So I did a very systematic work, and we developed the CSR prediction model. And the person who were really helpful in developing from research were Dennis Kegi, Marty Sorensen, people who ran the pilot oven, Rich Cruz, and Fritz Warburg, and Tom Coyle, and Bill Ferris. And once we had developed that, now it was a huge project to make that kind of coke in the coke plant. Then the huge project to try in the blast furnaces. And nobody, I don't think so, that went from such a low CSR to such high slowly with time and could see wonderful results as we progress. So as a result, and a lot of people were involved, the plant from research. So I just can't take the credit alone of implementation. In that one, now I would like to at least acknowledge the people from the plant. The people from the plant who helped in that very much. From research also. So Dennis Kegi and Valerie Ades from research. And from the plant, we had people, Don Zucchi and Wendell Carter and Bill Embry and few other people also, Joe Moore. Then the next one is that since we had developed the CSR prediction model, so we went one step further. I don't think Nippon still did that, or to my knowledge, nobody did it. So what we would do is that if we buy any coal from anywhere, we would say, no, we want to come to your reserve, look at the map, and predict the CSR other properties inside, and then see if it will be compatible with the coal that we are already using, which nobody did it, So we use that, it's called user value, or use specific, coal reserve evaluation. So in that, I got good help from Charlie Harrison for doing petrographic work, microscope, and then going to these mines, many mines have gone. It's very interesting. You go there with a turban and then in the middle of Tennessee or where people have not seen you. So I had very interesting stories to tell, but that's for some other time. So, and the people who helped me in that process were from the research side. Chip Ostenberg, Jonathan, Jeff was that. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He is the most important. The first person that we went together. And now he's with Suncook. So, and Bill Salmon and Bhaskar and Jonathan. Then the next thing is that now by this time, in beginning of 92 or something like that, we started looking for PCI because we had shut down our coke plant. So we had to use pulverized coal injection to buy less coke from US Steel. We were buying from US Steel. What I found is that when the blast furnace gas is coming in the flue dust, we had coal particles. And there was no way coal can survive because you're injecting at the bottom of the blast furnace to come through such a heat and such a massive, gaseous environment. It can't escape. It will be char consumed. So, but then we found out, no, yes, it can come through. And there is a different mechanism which I don't want to go into it. And so we developed a method microscopically to to determine how much unburned coal has come, unburned char has come. This would be all consumed inside the blast furnace. And based on that, it helped us in selection of coal or instability of the blast furnace, all those things. So those are also completely new also from our side, microscopic work. Then the next one, this was a huge project. It's the coke degradation behavior inside the blast furnace. So basically what happens is that you charge pellets with and then coke. So the coke does the following things. It helps for the burden to descend systematically. Then second, at the bottom, the tube, you are injecting hot blast. So the coke starts burning. So then the reducing gases, CO, it reduces the iron ore. So hot metal, it drifts down to the bottom of the blast furnace and gases move up to reduce it. And most important, coke has to be strong so that the void spaces are there, so the gases can move and all these things will happen. And it should carry the burden on its shoulder so that if it breaks, then there will be fines everywhere and the blast furnace will behave erratically. So in this project, this was all under supervision of Dr. Pinakin Chawal. So and he's from research. So he developed a pure sampling device. So we could force this device at the pure level inside the blast furnace, go all the way to the center of the blast furnace. It's called dead man zone, and then pull it out. And then we examine. And the reason that why we did it as follows. The Chinese coke was very cheap coming to America, and we were using US Steel coke 100% at our number 7 blast furnace. So to reduce the cost and all that, we started doing trial for that coke. But we had a difficult time because of this coke had very unusual properties. Some properties are fantastic. Some are not that conducive. So, but coke's 10 properties are superior. So we wanted to see, and the beauty is that because US Steel coke and this coke is totally different, because Chinese coke had coal that is very different than the coal from here. So under microscope, I could easily say that even in the blast furnace, when the coke has come down, that this is US Steel coke, this is Chinese coke in that pure sample. So this is how we wanted to see, what is the reason why they are behaving differently, So we did that work, and there's a lot of people who helped us from the plant. Again, Don Zuki and Wendell Carter, and from research, Rich Cruz and Tom Coyle, Bill Ference, and Chip Ostenberg. And Chip was the one who looked under the microscope and identified different minerals in that, and the char. Then the last one, this is very interesting, induction heating of coal will like heat treatment of metal. So this idea came to me because of Dr. Harry Mawr of mesophase, the pneumatic liquid crystal. So I thought, they are arranging, why can't I use a magnetic field and move them around and make them better, larger carbon forms. So Benny Das Gupta, he gave us a free hand to do this. And so me and Charlie Harrison, we did this work, and this was the first time any paper from Indian Steel was published in Fuel journal. And US Steel was used to publishing in Fuel journal all the time. So that's basically my product was making.